Hey guys, how's it going? We have Cellar with us. They're going to be painting the album cover for Strangers in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers. There's only going to be one winner. This is going to be super interesting to see how these turn out. Let's have a look at it.
Cool, whenever you guys
Thanks,
want to start.
Skeleton Key Brewery.
Yeah,
This is good. That was the worst endorsement in the history of ever.
Skeleton Key, this is good.
This is
I
good.
say I don't usually like beer, and I do like this. So.
Same.
Whoa.
I used to work at a
All right.
brewery, and it was like I could have free beer. Literally, it was like you could have a free beer every night that you work, and I was just like, man, if only I liked beer. And there were a couple that I really liked, but like this, I drank it and I was like, yo, I would drink that again. Which
That's
sounds
good.
kind of lame, but it's like, all relative.
Comes from the heart. I
Yeah.
would drink that again.
I was going to ask you guys this like 20
Let's
minutes
write a
ago,
lyric.
but where did you guys even meet? Or how did you guys meet?
That's a fun,
It's like
that's a
6
fun
different
question.
stories, yeah.
That's what I was curious. Did you guys start all four at the same time? Or did you get two and then found another and another? How'd that work?
I'd say me and
So-
Joey met first.
Yeah.
That's true. We did meet first.
Chronologically,
Yeah,
we
I
met in 2013.
Yeah, we met through a mutual
Where's the
friend,
playbook?
somebody I went to high
Where's the what?
school with,
the
that
playbook?
Lucy met in college and ended up in being in a band with, and I think we might have played
Taylor's
together a
probably
couple
closest.
times.
The first thing we met
Look like
was our
this.
first show with
Yeah,
a
that
little bit red
band
in here.
ever.
So you
Joey
two
just
were
down.
the
So we
stars.
met. Well, yeah, we started, but I only played with that band maybe 2 or 3 times. So
Yeah.
that was like
We
a
got
fun.
Rose,
We
actually.
collided a couple times.
Adventures
They went to school in Wisconsin, and I
Yeah.
went to school in Illinois. So I maybe saw Lucy like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and you
I
came
think-
on tour, and then he
came
moved
on
to
tour.
Chicago, and that's when we brought him in.
Mhm.
And then they met the next year because they are younger than us.
Yeah.
How did you guys
So
meet?
You guys,
Name.
okay, so you guys came in second together too? Like to add to the addition of the four?
Well, we didn't get in this same band together until 4 years after that story. So when we started, we were at the same school as Lucy. We both joined this like school music ensemble, and we met through there, and then we started jamming. So all throughout college, we had a 2-piece group called Cat and Dan.
Okay.
And also in college, I met Lucy because the guy so I was in a band still with some of my high school friends, and one of the guys in that band, his name is JT, and I was friends with Lucy on Facebook because we did some thing together, school thing, I forget.
Midsummer? Was it Midsummer?
Yeah, it was Midsummer. And so one day I was on Facebook, and her profile picture was that guy when he was a kid. I'm like, what? So I found out they went to school together, and then Lucy eventually joined my band, and then that band split up, and then the 3 of us formed a band,
After college one.
and then Joey came to our show, and then Joey joined. It was a wild.
So who's the originator of your guys' band name?
That took a while.
Oh, Danny's wife, actually, because we named ourselves
Yeah.
Somersault, but that was taken by another
Wait a
band.
second, you have a wife?
Yeah, I'm married. Yeah.
Who else has a
I'm
spouse?
also married.
She's got a husband.
You guys look like you're still in like, early stages of
We
college.
married
Middle
young.
school.
Wait, who's the youngest one?
Guilty.
Who is that? We're all around the same.
You're 95?
Hmm.
Okay.
95.
I think you
So-
were June 95.
I'm younger than you by like 5 months.
Oh, you are the youngest.
Little baby.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I'm 25 and a half.
So are you guys like close, or do you guys spend much time when you're not practicing? Do you actually spend time with each other?
Well,
It
so
would be nice if we had the time.
Or
if we had the time, I don't know. I think we find time to hang out, but it's never as a band. I think for me, I've hung out with all of you separately in some way.
Yeah.
Danny and I like interact. We were working at the same school. Like it's called the School of Rock. It's a very interesting place.
where's that?
So it is a corporate music education program where they teach kids how to play like Smoke on the Water,
TNT,
TNT,
Seven Nation Army.
Beverly
Hold on,
Hills.
So this
Important
is
stuff.
is that movie School Rock literally linked to this somehow?
They told me that they made it very clear in orientation that like this is not linked to the movie.
Jack Black.
That's a different thing, because a lot of parents are like, oh, like the movie, and I guess for
Yeah.
whatever reason they're very clear that like this school did it first.
Is that because of copywriting?
I have no idea. I think it's just a pride thing because it was started Philadelphia by some dude who really liked prog
It
rock.
used to be called Paul
And
Green School of Rock.
Paul Green School of Rock, and he would teach the kids how to play like Yes songs. And I'm totally butchering the history, but this is what I remember.
It's more than I know.
This is all I got in orientation. And so, but there would be really, talented kids there. There would be kids who were just there to have fun.
Yeah.
And so, but we worked at the one in Oak Park, which is interesting because I had never experienced. I just moved to Chicago like 3 years ago, and I wasn't aware of places like Oak Park, the surrounding suburbs, how different they are.
Yeah.
How like they each have a vibe, and they each have, I don't know, just like the people that live there all have their own like specific quirks to the suburbs. So we
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going on a tangent.
No,
here,
it's
but
I following.
so we're like, yeah, so Danny grew up in Chicago. You are a Chicago boy. I did not. I grew up like downstate in Champaign.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just,
Do you think that adds to the cohesiveness a little bit? Like you guys are all from different. Well, you two. I don't know where you two are from.
So you're
I'm
you're
from Chicago.
from Chicago.
Actually, three of us are from Chicago.
Like so, suburb Chicago, city Chicago.
I'm suburbs. You are city for sure.
Suburbs, city, and then you two are just not even from the same.
No, I'm also from city, Chicago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then you,
I'd say
okay.
I'm
I'm
more city
the
than
only
you
one
are.
not like from the
More
area,
city than-
but I'm an Illinois boy for sure.
So you guys think he
boy.
brings different things to the table because of that, or?
It definitely makes an impact. I think that you came from a completely different music scene, so the college the three of us went to was in Wisconsin. He went to U of I, so he'd come up for shows with that band,
Yeah.
and so I knew Joey the drummer as he was sort of like a legend more than an actual dude that I ever met, but. Like also all throughout, like basically until we started together, we were coming from completely different music scenes, and I think that has been cool to sort of like be able to integrate how we came up playing music. Am I making this up?
Yeah, I think a lot of it too comes from our other bands that we've been in together,
Right.
and we have a lot of.
'Cause
we've learned a lot from those bands.
Every one of us has been in at least one other group with one of the other band members besides this one. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on.
I love the violin adds a really neat aspect to the whole full. But the thing I noticed when you guys are performing is you guys are at such like in different lanes that you guys literally all come together equally to make one perfect like harmony, if that makes sense. Like you can't take someone out and it's gonna sound good. Does that make sense?
That's cool. I like
I'm
that.
glad to hear you say
Yeah.
that. I think that was the whole point for me, because in
Oh.
having a band was that everything would
Thought this
matter.
was somebody's drink.
Because a lot of the music that I liked
Oh,
when I
yeah,
started
it's fun.
playing
That does kind of
music
become
was
a
like solo music, and like I played like acoustic guitar and I listened to like singer-songwriters and stuff.
Yeah.
So
This
I
is black.
would try to do a lot of stuff by myself, but then when I started playing with people, I'm like, oh, like this is, there's more to share. There's like so much to go around in terms of like what we can do together. And so I was like, if I'm ever going to be in a band, it's going to matter. Everyone who's going to be in the band like needs to be someone who, if you take them out of the band is like it's lesser for it.
Exactly. And I can tell you practice because your cues were all on point. Like, you can definitely tell you take the time and get together and go through sets and go over them over and over and over. Like, it was funny, they were all waiting for you to do that last hit.
That was, totally blank on that one. But if, I thought it
No, it was good.
I thought it sounded
Well, that
better
was an intentional
with a
choice, yeah.
pregnant pause.
That was nice.
Pregnant
A
pause.
pregnant pause. That's
I
a
love
thing
that.
people say.
It is for some reason.
Absolutely, it's in books.
I forget what song you guys did it in, but there was a... I was going to ask you guys, did you do an intentional break in the song where you three did your own thing just to give her time to switch instruments? Was that intentional?
Gibson Moon, when you went from mandolin to violin.
Oh no, I just was like, I want to play both instruments on this song.
So
So.
you didn't construct the song in a way where like, okay, we're going to have this little break real quick so she can...
Oh,
switch
no.
instruments.
Well, I guess we sort of
I think
did.
we all have a lot of self-agency in everything that we do. I think it's all
that
like an
choice.
internal decision, and we bring it to the table. And if someone has like, something against it, they voice their opinion. But I think most of the time, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
We all
we're
kinda-
becoming maybe more intentional because that was a song written before we were in a band.
all of the songs that we've written tonight, basically, or that we played tonight, except for Celebration.
No, yeah, there are a few ones.
That were written.
Well,
in
New
there.
England, Gibson definitely. Well, the album is called like In Our Time, and part of it is kind of a nod to the fact that most of the songs on our album like were at least in part written at a different point in a different space when before we were in a band together. So yeah, we're still cycling through that, and now we're getting to the part where like we're writing music intentionally kind of cycled through each of us, because otherwise we have very different writing styles. We've just been talking about this a lot recently. Where like she's got super folk, and like Danny has like is really typical like or specific on harmonies and the melodies.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know for me like what it is, but
That's the thing is we're trying to
A little poppy.
yeah, so
poppy. Yeah, there you go.
Lucy, Catherine, and I are all do some songwriting. So there are songs on the album that are just like solely written by one of us, and then two of us, and then three of us. And so since we're working on music past our album right now, and it's an exploration of like, okay, even if like there's kind of like a feeling like, all right, I know in my head, I know like what a Lucy song or a Catherine song or a Danny song sounds like. What does it actually mean? Can I articulate that?
Because we're all songwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that question too. I don't know if you guys. There's one person designated to write the music, someone else designated to write the melody and
the Fall Out Boy style.
I guess.
That's what they. Yeah. Pete Wentz wrote the lyrics and Patrick Stone wrote the music. At least that's what I've heard.
You guys seem like literally to be like one. Like you do everything together, and which is awesome. When is like a time where you'd be like, all right, I think we're making it. Like, what would have to happen?
When Joey can quit his job.
When I can quit my job.
When Joey decides that he's ready to quit his
We can
job.
all quit our jobs. Yeah.
You know, the thing about music is, and you guys are all musicians, is you're always one song away from being huge. It's it. You're just one song away, and that's the truth behind it, and it's awesome.
That's a very positive mindset to have.
It is, though. Yeah. It's the truth of it. It's the only thing on the whole earth you can do that you're always one away. Because, like, if you ever do the research in the background, like artists nowadays, they were always putting out music, and they put out one more song, and it blows up. Yeah. And now they're this big, So I think that's cool, and it's always something to think about.
I guess it's good we have an album out now, so we can start with that.
Yeah.
No, I listened to New England when you guys were done, and I was wow. I follow you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Points right there.
You get all the points.
No, I think it's cool. You guys don't have like a top 5, like a normal top 5. All your songs are equally distributed. They all have 1,000 plays.
Is it 1,000 or less than 1,000?
I think it is less.
I think
I don't know.
Spotify doesn't even bother unless you can break 1,000.
There's a lot of problems
to say,
but we'll just say 1,000 for the video.
But yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting because there is such like there's a significant amount of like stylistic variation within the album itself that I'll be fascinated to see when those numbers finally like emerge. What people like, what people are avoiding like the plague.
Right.
which song was really bad that we thought was fine, like that kind of stuff.
How do you guys market yourself, really? Like, because marketing is just as important. You have to get your name
That's
out there.
the next that's the next thing.
That's the question.
That is the question.
This is a form of marketing.
I think we're trying to do more of this, and we're trying to do more video sessions and interviews and getting press. That's another goal.
Are you guys on all the social medias platforms and stuff?
We are, yeah.
Do you guys have a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel. I think.
I thought you said Disney Channel.
Are you Disney Channel?
Disney Channel?
I really want to do a commercial for Disney
We
Channel.
also have
That is
Disney,
probably my goal
Yeah.
in this band.
Pull up a line. I tweeted Kids Bop and Disney as a joke, like, hey, you guys should sign me for a producer, like when I make beats,
No, but if you got signed, your whole life would
Oh, I will definitely do it.
Your
Yeah,
whole life would be, you'd be living in
I will make
the hills
beats
right
right
now.
Yeah.
Any Disney. I don't care.
So you guys
Money
have
talks.
YouTube, Instagram, do you do Facebook as well?
Yeah.
We got
Do you
the
guys ever boost your posts? You know about that?
Yes, we have a few times.
How did that work out?
Yeah, actually, we did get more engagements. It's not like it mainly does it to people that we already are connected with, or who are connected with people who we're connected with.
So it's not necessarily good for growing your reach, I think is what we kind of...
Yeah, but I think this one strategy that I've been doing, is just asking my friends to invite everyone they know to like us on Facebook. And then after we do that, I'll try to like boost a post then, so that those people, those new people who we actually don't know, might see something. And that's where we might get like new people. Like my sister did it, and a bunch of like people she knew. Some people reached out to us. People were like, "Wow, this is great! I actually really like this." So in that time, like doing it with a strategic approach and timing, that works.
Yeah. I mean, well, it sounds like you guys have your own separate lives too, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, I mean, from what I can gather, you guys have your personal life, but then you have a part of your life where you come together and make music. So, I mean, which one takes over, do you think?
I don't know. I think our personal lives do come together in a lot of ways. We mentioned Danny's wife, Mary, has been somebody who's really helped us in the early days get pictures, get kind of figure out like what we are. It's great to have.
She named us.
That's also true.
Oh, really?
She took
Yeah.
A lot of credit
She
to Mary.
took every single one of those photos except for that one, and that one she was basically like, kind of like directing the photos.
It's in their apartment.
Yeah.
Their old apartment.
Yeah, that's in our apartment. Yeah.
So in a way, like, you know, it's not like we are just making music and then we go home to like our wives or our partners, or we kind of do
Our dogs.
all, or dogs. We all like
Yeah.
hang out together, and so I get to see Lucy's husband Pavel as well. He's like our number one fan, and so we do have like a bit of an extended family thing. I just feel like I'm like a weird cousin in Danny and Lucy's family, because Danny's family and Lucy's family and Catherine's family too all come to shows because they're in the area. They're like they're living in the burbs very close by, or you know, I think Danny, your family lives like in the city. Like they're in Jeff Park, so they'll come out to shows, and I know everybody in the band's family very well.
Right.
They haven't had a chance to meet mine because they live like 6 hours away. So,
But when I do,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
excited for
I-
that.
oh yeah, you'll have
Very
Bill and Barb, and Josh and Brandon, the whole clan.
The whole clan.
Before all this craziness happened, how many shows are you guys doing a month, you'd say?
I
One.
think you aim for like
One a month?
You'd aim for one a
Yeah.
month. We try to do more. The big thing too is just getting outside of Chicago. That is hard sometimes to find other places to play. We played at Beloit where they went to school,
What's the name of that one?
but we haven't found a ton of other
Stranger
towns.
It's
where
funny
we
you
can-
say that though, because bands I've known that are outside of
I mean-
Chicago are trying to get into Chicago.
Right.
Just like wherever you are, you're trying to get away. It seems
Absolutely.
that way.
Well, I don't know. I had this thing because when I lived in Champaign, that has a very cool music scene. But you start seeing the same people at shows all the time, and then you realize that the only people who go to shows are also in bands. And so you meet every band in the scene, and then you meet every person in every band, and you're just trying to convince new people to come out, but they don't. Like Champaign's a college town, so people leave. Like the people who do end up staying, and I mean I left too. So it is kind of a city of transients, and then you have the townies who are all in bands, and you know, they play for each other. And I love that because I've been down there a couple times since, and it's a really like beautiful scene that does also feel like a family because you know everybody. But it's hard, I guess, for bands going into Chicago, you want to play to like a bunch of new people.
Right.
But we also find that even living in Chicago, you do end up in what can feel like, I don't know, a clique, or just like a segment of where you start seeing the same people over and over again.
Really?
And you're playing with the same bands. And
Joey, especially because he's in a lot of bands. And
Right.
They all know each other.
that's true. But so even then, like, I think we mentioned earlier the genre thing and how that makes it hard to book shows because we don't know a lot of folk bands. And so we're trying to convince like people who want to hear a pop punk band that they should check out folk music.
It's like that because after hearing you guys don't even need to like. It's almost like giving someone something they wanted they didn't know they wanted.
That's
what we're
the
hoping
dream.
for.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
but
dream.
no, I think that's very possible. Like the way you guys sounded, if you went and played somewhere, people wouldn't come and just be like, "Oh, I want to hear a folk band." But then when they hear you guys, they're like, "I'm so glad I heard a folk band." It's just I think that's the reality.
I mean, that would be an incredible endorsement is if we could get somebody who's like, yo, I only listen to like East Coast rap.
Well, what
But
if
your
you guys-
shit is so good.
What if you guys went with the trend like came out tomorrow is on top 10 trending on Spotify. Like, why not do like a cover? You know, I don't see that very often with folk music.
I don't think we would do that. I think that goes against probably their songwriting sensibilities.
So you want to be original 100%?
We would probably do originals, and we draw.
We do some cover sets though.
We do cover sets, but we're doing them in like. Sorry, you can go ahead. I didn't mean to speak over you.
Oh no, we're speaking together.
Cool.
It's just because we have to fill out a longer set. We'll do covers,
Gotcha.
yeah. But we do really like the original songwriting, like Joe was saying.
Process.
Well, I guess it depends on like what kind of trends are you talking about. Are you talking about like texture, like production? Because for us, our production on the last album was we just want the album to sound like how we sound live.
Right.
There's very minimal overdubs or like non-instruments or virtual. There's like almost no virtual instruments on it. It was all stuff that we tracked, and it was not heavily, but it was edited. Like we took the best takes. It's a digital recreation of like, you know, what we would sound like if everything went perfect.
So let me ask you this question then: if you don't want to, because I was thinking from the business standpoint, you want to go with what's trending. So on the flip side of that, I want to ask you this: if you're going for originality and everything you do, and original songs, original lyrics, what do you guys, as a team, what do you think you do to set yourself apart? Do you know what I mean?
I think that so part of our aesthetic, as far as I'm aware of it, which may not be super far, but I think one of the things that sets us apart automatically is the sort of multi-vocal aspect, where 3 out of 4 of us are taking lead vocals, and I wouldn't even say that we have a lead vocalist. I would say that Catherine and I are sort of co-lead vocalists most of the time, and Lucy does background vocals, and then also there are multiple songs where Lucy takes lead. So I think that's something that I haven't really seen people doing.
Just the Beatles.
And then
Just
on a songwriting level, we also have essentially three voices going in, and none of us basically, we're all always trying to get to that, like, okay, this is the person who started writing this song, they bring it in, when it comes out finished, we want it to sound like a Honey Cellar song.
That's something we're experimenting a lot with right now. Just because, like, as we talked about before.
So, like, someone hears something, they're like, oh, it's Honey Cellar.
Yeah,
Other than, like, oh, this is a Catherine song, or this is a Lucy song.
Ideally, it would be cool if, like, somebody heard one of our songs and had no idea which one of us wrote it, you know? Like, because we've all had our input on the process in terms of, like, our personal style and then the sort of collective thing that we're aiming for.
Right.
And then also, like, I don't know, we got Joey over here, who is just a really instinctive drummer. And
I don't know what I'm doing, is what that means.
Sometimes we'll be playing our
melody
lines
follow your
with
gut.
us.
I almost wonder what would happen if you just put a mic there on your drum set just one day. And, you know,
When I
you
started
just
singing,
chimed in a little bit when you
chimed
felt
in.
confident.
I don't
and
know.
then build the confidence, and now you have you're a bass vocalist. You don't even know.
I could be. That would be very funny to have
Our
like a
dream.
bass vocal under everything.
You never
like
know.
an octave below everything, yeah.
Like an acapella group.
I don't know where.
Like
That's the
pentatonics
main
or
thing is I have spent so little time singing or attempting singing that I don't even know like how to control my voice very well, and I'm wondering if I do go down that rabbit hole, maybe I'll find that even the way that I talk is changing a bit. Like, you know what I mean? Did you discover when you started singing that, like, because it's about understanding from how it's been explained to me, like, what naturally you sound good. You find your range and your register, and you do that by, like, opening your diaphragm and just, I did one exercise with a friend that was just, like,
I don't know what you're
shoot
talking
air
about.
out, like, in the most comfortable way. Like, just make a loud, like kind of sound and see how that feels. And
Right.
I don't normally... I think like singing and projecting my voice would change how
Sounds like you need to scream into your pillow.
I kind of do
Or-
need to scream after this year. Come on,
That's true.
We all do.
Yeah.
You could start
Bada
practicing
bing.
and find you just have a really distinct voice you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
And then you play with that, and then you run with it. You never know. You
True.
don't know until you try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know if you don't go, and you never
Yeah,
shine
shine.
if you don't glow.
Wow.
Can I put someone on the
She's
spot
out.
real quick?
What's up?
Who's willing to be on the spot?
Oh, yeah. What do you need?
I'll get on the
This is
spot.
like question I ask every
No, Joey.
interview. Why does the hummingbird suck?
What is what?
Why does the hummingbird suck?
Why does the hummingbird
Yeah.
suck?
I got
If
this one.
a literal
why does the hummingbird suck?
No.
This, if I got to go by instinct, this is gonna sound super petty, but the chip selection is not great.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
What's it good?
I was-
We need more keto friendly.
yeah, so,
That's why I ordered the veggie pizza for you.
there you go.
Aw.
Wait, what?
Did you really?
Yeah, I ordered pizza for everybody.
Wait, what?
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up in like 10 minutes. I'll be back.
No way, dude. What?
Yeah.
The greatest.
Yeah, I'll be back. So that makes up for the chips, right?
I always gotta ask that question.
Makes up for the
Why does
chips.
hummingbird suck?
Do you guys feel picky about chips? Like, do
I
you
love
guys have like a
Doritos.
brand, or will you? Because for me, they gotta be like kettle chips. They gotta be like really
Crunchy?
crispy and really
Mm.
salty and really crunchy. Like, yeah, really thick
And really
potato
crunchy.
slices, a
Dude,
lot
I
of
think
spud.
of Jimmy John's chips when you say that. I don't know why.
Those are pretty. Those are good. Yeah, that's
The bag chips.
they hit. Those
They
are
have
pretty
kettle.
close for me.
You're
Those
more
are
about texture than taste.
Well, I also like I do like the intense like extra lots of like citric acid, like the salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
Shit rules. What is the name of that? The voodoo chips. What are
Yeah.
those?
Oh, I don't
They
know.
have them in like Potbelly. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
haven't. I just had Potbelly. I don't remember.
I got you.
what
I
are
got
those
you.
called?
We don't have a Potbelly around here.
We do
have
in
to go to
Maryville.
Maryville, but that's not
Oh,
around
yeah.
here.
Oh.
That's close.
I won't travel 30 minutes.
I don't.
I
I'm
think it's
not
not
big
that
on.
good.
I'm not big on Potbelly.
It's
It's
good,
just
but
it gets the
Right.
job done. I mean, it like you leave there with more dignity than if you come out of a Jimmy John's, but it's still like
Well, I don't
it's
know
not,
about
it's
that.
not quite my thing.
It's always a little bit underwhelming. That's what I've said about
They
Potbelly.
don't have a lot.
Although
of,
their smoothies are really good. I love Potbelly smoothies.
you guys like burgers? Like in general?
I like a burger
Vegan
now and
A
then.
good veggie burger.
We got two of us are vegetarians.
Right.
So
Okay. That was my next question too. Are you guys health conscious? So vegetarian is falls under health conscious.
I'm vegetarian, but not health conscious. I drink a lot. I eat a lot
Like-
of Taco Bell. Like
I know
you-
vegetarians who just exist on cheese. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
You guys like the Impossible Burger?
Uh,
No.
you
It's
don't
too-
like it.
It's too realistic for me.
Is it?
I've been
Really?
vegetarian for like 15 years.
It's
11
not-
years. 11 years. And it like looks bloody and it just looks
Yeah.
real. And
Yeah.
even though it's not, I know it's not, but it's like,
So what's your go-to dish for being vegetarian?
I don't know. I like pasta. I eat a lot of
Pasta.
beans. Also, tofu.
I love beans, but I'll be blowing this place up. That's just me. But
That's true, yeah.
But that's where you get your protein from, right? From
Okay,
being
yeah.
vegetarian.
Beans and tofu. Eggs.
Eggs.
Lots
Tofu's
of
good.
gassy foods.
I love tofu. I've been big on the tofu, and soy. I got this
Tempeh.
tempeh also good. Yeah, any just kind of like processed bean product.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I know it sounds delicious when you
Hummus,
say it
does
like
that
that.
fall into that?
Hummus is that would be
Yeah.
processed chickpeas. So that's hummus rules. I love.
You can eat hummus with anything.
You can eat hummus with anything. I could just go like
Vegetables.
fist into some hummus right now.
I've done that before. I love hummus.
Oh, but I was gonna say that,
Like
like,
fisting on.
I'm fisting out here. Yeah, beer in one hand, just big old blob of chickpeas in the other. No, I think when I went vegetarian, I ended up
very
really
good.
like getting way better at cooking. I
Yeah.
learned so
I
many new
have to.
recipes because like
Also pretty
you
good.
can't just rely on like
I love
frozen
the
chicken and
walkway
just
that
like whatever anymore.
almost feels like
It's like how are you
sounds
gonna
like
make
a-
beans tasty? Because
Right.
beans on their
Supermassive
own are not
black
great.
hole.
Canned beans
Yeah.
like not good, but do their
Objects
spices
around
are like
him are like sinking
check out
into
a
Is
few
it.
there a
techniques.
What walkway?
And you can make something really delicious.
Is there a
That's
It looks like
also
a
really
walkway,
cheap.
but no,
Because
there
I did
isn't.
that. I
But
went
it's
vegetarian also
just
when I
this
moved up
section.
here
It
and
just
did
feels
not have a job.
It's like a
Yeah.
So I was
supermassive
just
black
trying to
hole.
figure
He's
out like, oh, rice and
Yeah.
beans is cheap,
I like
and
it
like,
though.
oh, I kind of like just eating like rice and beans, potatoes, and like spinach all the time. So
I feel like you have to be explorative in the recipe area
Mhm.
if you're going vegetarian.
absolutely,
Because, yeah, like you said, you can't be eating the same
This is the
thing. We
worst
want to make something
thing I
taste
could
good.
possibly have done to this
Yeah.
poor ghost.
well, I don't know. I think
This is
Catherine could
great.
speak to that because Catherine has actually lived in other countries that do a pretty good
Yeah.
job of
Wait,
like
which countries?
vegan or
I
vegetarian
spent a
dishes.
year in Indonesia.
So you lived though?
Yeah,
How
I
long?
was there for 10 months, less than a year.
It was just
but-
last year.
Yeah, it was in 2019 that I came back. I was teaching English over there, but
Really?
yeah, the food there was for sure like a lot of. Well, it's interesting because there was meat and people did eat meat, but like tempeh, like soy-based products like tofu and tempeh, beans, all of that was always cheaper. And so in a lot of ways, like that was kind of the main dishes. There's also not a lot of dairy just because there's a lot of coconuts, and so there's a lot of coconut milk, and so it's super easy, like, taking out the meat to basically make a meal if you're making an Indonesian meal and make it completely vegan, just because everything else about it, like, is basically vegan. And we get tempeh from the island of Java, actually. Like, that's where it was originally, like, first produced accidentally by leaving out some soybeans to ferment for too long, and then we discovered tempeh. So it's really good.
What's your outlook coming back here, like as far as everything?
It was
How's America?
gastronomically hard to adjust to.
Do you appreciate a lot of things now, or is it like is there some things out there you appreciate?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss a lot of the people that I knew and like the experiences that I had just engaging with my students at my school. Definitely provided a context for understanding, like even simple things, just like coming together over a meal. I feel like it made me appreciate so much more like the importance of having those moments, because I think in America most of what my moments for like eating meals has been either alone, really quick, or like you take your food to your room. And in Indonesia, someone made food, they called you down, and like you would be sitting on the floor and you're eating with your hands, for example, or eating with a fork and spoon. But everyone would always be together, and so it was always just this concept of not eating food just for the sustenance, rather the experience of it and cooking together. So that's the biggest thing that I think I took away, and I really do miss and try to replicate here as much as possible with these fine folks.
That's really awesome.
We come together to eat our pizza.
We do eat our pizza too.
Is there anywhere else you've lived besides Indonesia?
Oh, funny you should ask.
Ecuador for a couple of months. Poland for 6 months, but I'm Polish, so it doesn't count.
It counts. It's a whole different country. It's a whole different continent.
Did you feel like you were home, or did you feel like, what am I doing here?
That's a good question, because it was kind of weird, because I come from like the southern, rural part of Poland. So, like, it was very towny, like, whenever I came back to visit my family. So I was living for the first time in a city when I studied abroad. So that was weird, like, talking to Polish people and not talking about taking 20 minutes to get to the nearest store.
When they saw you, did they just start speaking Polish?
Yeah, people assume.
When you spoke English and they figured out, it's like they knew you were American?
Oh, well, if I spoke Polish, they'd be like, your accent.
Wait, do you speak Polish?
Yeah.
Fluently?
She speaks a lot of languages.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Can you say the hummingbird
awesome.
sucks in Polish?
Bardzo lubię hummingbird.
That's
What about
You got Indonesian?
yeah?
Hummingbird.
Aku sangat suka hummingbird.
What is like the Google Translate on Indonesian? Is it just because because it sucks is like it's like a colloquialism, right? Or I don't know what you would call it, but you're not saying like
It's
the
an idiom,
hummingbird sucks.
yeah.
It's
Like-
an idiom. Thank you. Yeah.
Like that sucks.
You idiom.
Well, no, but what's the equivalent? Are you saying like the hummingbird? Are you
I just
are
said,
you
like-
implying because
Are
like
you saying like it's bad
or is it just like
She said she didn't
it's
reprehensible?
like fuck
Yeah,
this,
the
fuck this?
Not like nggak suka sort of movie. But yeah.
That's so awesome though. You went there knowing so I'm Spanish, Puerto Rican, whatever. If I go to Puerto Rico, I can't speak Spanish. So what's gonna happen?
Is it like a fear thing of like?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah,
it happens
yeah.
here. So like
Yeah.
I've been there and people see my face and start speaking Spanish, and I'm always having to break the news like I don't speak Spanish, and they don't they're not polite about it. They just kind of
Damn.
shun
It's
it.
like disapproving.
Disapproval, disappointment.
It's like our
who are
culture.
you?
You've let down your entire
piece of
culture.
shit.
Yeah.
You can see pain in their eyes. It's
Wow.
horrible. So that's awesome that you've been to Poland speaking Polish.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something that because I've always loved learning languages, just because I sucked at Polish so bad for most of my life.
It's just hard, dude.
Such a hard language, and I would get made fun of as well, like that. I guess somehow I like turned it into like a positive thing of like always feeling like, okay, well then I just gotta learn it better, you know, and kind of ignore the noise. But no, I mean, I think one thing that I've learned just from spending time in Indonesia and like having built these skills and learning languages and then like being in environments where like I was with like 20 other Americans as well in this program who knew varying amounts of like Spanish or other languages or nothing at all, and they were coming in here and trying to learn Indonesian, and like the patience and the like conscientiousness to understand that like not every single person who doesn't speak a language doesn't identify with a certain culture outside of America. That was something that I remember like having a specific moment thinking like one of my friends is like half Cuban and half something else, I forget, but I completely like didn't think about the fact that she was Cuban until someone pointed out to me like, oh, like, you know, she would understand about like Cuban like food, and I was like, oh, like yeah, she does still embody the culture even if she doesn't speak the language. So there's so many other layers upon like being like identifying with a culture besides language. Right. So it is a shame that like most people don't see that and they just kind of look at the surface level.
Exactly. The one thing I can relate to that is I lived in England, and going back to
where in England?
It's called Suffolk.
Okay.
It was an hour south of London. Suffolk. It was, all the Americans said Suffolk, and they quickly corrected.
Of course they did.
Like, no, it's Suffolk. But one of the things I appreciated from America is we have freaking options to eat late at night. They don't have that.
No.
You don't have groceries.
It's like, oh my god. I was there for 3 months too.
Yeah, so
and
you
it's
know.
Just, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
the 24-hourness
of
it is
2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
The like in London, the train doesn't stop running after like 1 a.m. or 1:30 or something like that.
In
and
Japan,
I'm like,
it was like that too.
The blue line goes all night, like.
Yeah, it's weird. But
different mentality. I think, like in Poland, they close the grocery stores on Sunday a lot of the time. I think there was like a new law they passed like last year.
Oh, I had no idea.
I also have an affiliation with Poland, but you can't go to the grocery store on like Sunday. I think sometimes, but it's like the day of rest. It's just a different mentality.
Right.
That's like the family day. You have to spend it with your family.
Have you been outside of the country ever?
Yeah.
Have you all been outside of the country?
I've probably been outside of the country the least out of everybody, but I've still managed to go to
France.
I've been to France. Yeah, I lived in France for 5 months, but when I was for 3 months when I was 10. So I feel like it doesn't count because I was 10 years old, did not know any French. I was being like homeschooled by my mom. At that point I was in the middle of 5th grade. We did that because my dad he had taken a job at a French university for just like a part-time or I guess like a short-term position at a university there. And so we ended up just renting an apartment in the middle of Lyon. And I was too young to appreciate like the history, the difference in culture, because really I was just in 5th grade. I felt alone because it was just me, my mom, and my brothers hanging out all the time. And anytime I tried to speak French to another French kid, they would berate me mercilessly. And I had no idea what they were saying to me, but I felt how much they pitied me trying to like communicate with them. Even the kids. And the kids were terrible.
They hear that about the people.
There's so much of
actually
that
French people. So I will say like
French people.
So I went later in 2016. I did like a short trip through France and Switzerland, and French French adults are very nice.
Really?
And I didn't even attempt French because it was so scarred by like my previous attempts there. But my younger brother, had taken French and was speaking and would have like conversations, and they were very polite about like, even though you could see they were really struggling with like his accent and his limited vocabulary, like he would still do it, but they had no problem like, talking to me in English or everybody was fine about it. That's a stereotype that I think is not true anymore. But I do think their kids are all little bastards, and they were all so mean to me. But it's something you must grow out of, because like I was also a pretty like terrible kid, so you grow out of it.
Middle school kids are the worst.
Middle school kids are the worst. I did work with middle school kids for a year, and they're not like good at insulting you, but they just do it all the time. So eventually it just like wears down on you. Yeah, they like make fun of my shoes and stuff. And the first. Because I was working there as like a 22-year-old, and like a kid making fun of your shoes, like, oh, whatever, you're wearing just like Skechers, who cares? But they keep doing it over and over and over again, and eventually it wears you down.
Like they do that intentionally to wear you down, or they just do it because they're.
I know some kids, they don't know what's going on. Like I think that like when we were young, I would repeat things over and over again. It's just like fixate on words or phrases that I thought were funny or that I thought were like a challenge to authority. And I guess that those kids thought that if they could tear my shoes down, they could tear me down.
No.
And eventually they did, because I was like started thinking about my fashion. I was like, what am I doing? Now here's a 22-year-old looking like a slob. Like middle schoolers are gonna tell me how to dress, but there were also kids that would wear trench coats every day. So I'm gonna let the kid who wears a trench coat every day get to me.
What's their fashion over there? Is it just Europe?
Well,
European fashion?
Oh wait, I don't know about like French fashion. I was talking about in America.
That happened in America.
When I was.
I thought you were saying that happened in.
I'm sorry.
Japan.
I was saying because we were talking about middle schoolers, and I worked in a middle school for a year. I was working with middle school aged kids, and they a lot of them had like conduct disorder and stuff like that. So the whole point was that they were going to challenge authority all the time. And I thought that was it was cool when you could like, I don't know, break through, have a nice moment, but most of the time it felt like you were just trying to not reflect their negativity back onto them. So it was challenging. I would like leave a shift and be like, why do I feel terrible?
That's pretty good.
Because like
That's
kids were
really
yelling
good.
at you all day.
I
So that was one of the reasons I moved up to Chicago too. Was I started that job. I thought I was going to work in education, and I was like, I don't think.
It looks
Maybe
more
I'm
like an
cut out
actual
for that.
animal.
So I'd like to.
That one looks like
I don't
one
know,
of those
maybe
like
revisit it
minimalist,
when I'm older,
paintings
but
that
as a
have
young
little
kid,
animal
like
in the corner.
I don't know, working in a school is tough. You
What
know,
is that?
I couldn't
What's
imagine doing it
happening
now
with
for
the
sure. You
third-
need so much
So I do
patience,
2 arms
and I don't
on the
I don't
girls.
have
What's
it.
the third? What's the thing coming out of the middle?
Like
It's a leg.
I don't know. I don't have any.
I don't think there was one of those
No,
on
I
the
don't-
album cover,
Why
bro.
not? One leg.
It's a sheet.
I've got feet on mine.
They require
I don't know if
so
it's
It's
a
a
much.
sheep. You
Yeah.
could have a split in a sheep.
You can, but I don't think they did. I don't think it do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wait, that's a sheep
Well-
under the goat?
So
No,
real
sheet,
fast.
I'm talking about sheet.
I wanted to go around in a circle with you guys individually. I want to know like when you're like embarrassing moments, like just because everyone has to
So
have an
many.
individual, but like maybe your top, if you don't mind sharing your top embarrassing moments.
Okay. Starting with me.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Okay. No, I'm not going to say that one because this is a music related one. But one of my first shows, I was playing in a band with some friends from middle school. I think we were in 8th grade. We were called the Band Geeks, and we really liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green Day. So that's what we sounded like. It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green Day. We had a song called "Where's My Stratocaster," which was a 10-minute instrumental jam because none of us could sing. And they gave me like School of Rock, the movie drum solo, you know, where you're just like, and they told me to do it for like, I don't know, like a minute or 2 minutes. And in the middle of it, I lost a drumstick. It just like fell out of my hand, and I heard it hit the wall behind me. I was like, oh no. But I was able to like quickly grab it and continue. But there was a video for a long time of just like a drum solo and then 5 seconds of silence, and then I just go back to doing it. So that was like my debut was I like whiffed the drum solo. So that was fun. It was fun now, but at the time I was mortified. I was like, I probably should stop making music. Like that was terrible.
We're glad you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going with the music theme, when I was in Indonesia, there were a lot of like events that were kind of thrust upon me. Like, oh, you should come to this, and I was always like, yeah, fuck yeah. But this one was like, one of the teachers at a different school wanted me to come to a cafe in the city to perform, like with guitar and like sing, and like I was like, okay, but nobody came except for like the 2 people I invited. So it was like they were asking me to play for 3 hours to an empty room, and then one person did come in, ordered himself some food, and said, "Play Leaving on a Jet Plane." And I was like, who? Like, I really didn't have a repertoire to, like, know exactly, like, all the songs. Because the culture in Indonesia is really big into, like, playing covers. And, like, if you are a master at covers and can play, like, anything on command, like, that's a good musician. In most, like, like, urban areas of the country. Because everyone likes to sing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, like, in Japan, I think, where, like, people can go up. Even if it's, like, this, like, renowned band, like, people still feel this kind of, like like what do you call it? Like a transient barrier between like the band and the audience, where you can just come up and start singing and say like, "Do you know this song?" They're like, "Oh hell yeah, we know that song," and then like you, a random passerby, could end up playing the song. So that's a really big part of it. I unfortunately was not able to deliver on it.
Did it like kill you? Like, was it emotionally distraught like his story?
He just said like, "Play this," and I go, I didn't say anything, and then he just kept eating. But there was literally one person, so definitely very awkward.
You let that one guy down.
I did, to this day.
Just wait to hammer it home, Lizzie.
Sorry.
Anyone want to go
Lizzie, do you want to go? I can go. What do you want to do? You got something yet?
Why don't you go? I have so many things that I'm not going to say.
Okay. All right. So this is. So in college, I ran sound for the venue on campus, which was kind of like a school subsidized dive bar, which in itself is an interesting concept.
Yeah, it was.
So, and usually it went fine, but the first night that I was like, the guy who was training me said, "Okay, you're on your own now. Can you handle this?" It was me and the same situation for the other sound tech who had started training the same time as me. So the event that night was the 72-hour song-a-thon, which is where you enter your name in the thing, and then they draw you in a random band of random people, and then in the next 72 hours, you have to write and perform a song together. So it's a very low-stakes event. But long story short, it is also one of the most hectic events that you could ask for, and the guy who knows what he's doing isn't there. So it's me and the other rookie, who was probably better than me at a lot of stuff. But at one point, just like the system stopped working. And I was like, "What?" Just like everything just shut down. And I was like, "Oh crap! Like Maya, what happened?" And they were like, "I don't know what happened." And I was like, "I don't know." So we went and we like checked all the plugs, and we went on stage and we checked all the connections, and we went, and then finally I was like, "Oh man, like I don't know, man. I'm gonna call Greg." And meanwhile, it's like sweaty and drunk, and there's a bunch of people. There's a ton of people who showed up for it, and there's just nothing happening. I was like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna call Greg." And so it's like, "Greg, I don't know what happened, man, but like I messed up and there's no sound." And he's like, "All right, I'll be there soon." And so Greg probably runs there, because when he finally comes down the stairs, he's moving at pace. But by that point, it's 30 seconds past the moment where I realized that my belt buckle turned off the power source. There's the on-off switch is just right at waist level, and I just turned it off, and I forgot where the power switch for the whole thing is, and that would be the problem. And then Greg came in and I was like, "Hey Greg, it's fine. I don't want to tell you what I did, but I think I have to." And then so.
Did he laugh at you? Or
I can't remember. He was a pretty good-natured guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he was mad about it. I think he was just happy that it turned out fine.
If it is a relief when you found out it's just your belt buckle.
Yeah, he was probably relieved. He was like, "Thank God that it's not, something we have to call a professional to fix." Yeah.
It still sucks though.
Yeah. But it was like, for starting, like, be like, "All right, you're on your own for that night." It's like, cool. If you do this right, then you just did, basically, you've mic'd every type of weird instrument you'll ever mic, and every type of chord, combination you'll ever mic. The Songathon is like, it's stipulated you don't have to know how to play an instrument. So there's just a lot of weird stuff that goes on. But then if you mess up, it's like, it was only Songathon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well played, Greg. Turned out fine.
Well, I thought of a lot of stories, and I'm not going to tell them because there's a small chance that my little sister could watch this.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell.
Well, that's just as bad as telling them, man.
She's only 13. I'll tell one that happened in grade school. I was a very shy kid, and I was in 7th grade. And, they would always change our seating placements, and we were on little islands, and they finally put me next to the guy I had a crush on since, like, 2nd grade. And I started talking to him because I was like, "Oh, this is my opportunity, finally." this really, really quiet kid, and we were talking a lot and like joking all the time. And then my teacher like called me out and was like, Lucy, like, wow, I wonder why you started talking so much.
Oh my god.
And then everyone laughed at me, and I was laughing too. I was like,
Like,
but I was really like, oh my god, everyone knows. As if everyone else in the class didn't also have a crush on the same guy.
What grade was this?
As if.
As if. It was 7th grade. So we were like 12.
7th. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking
grade.
more like 4 or 5. 4th or 5th.
No, I think other embarrassing. I think I definitely peed my pants at one point in grade school. Maybe like, it was like maybe
Who hasn't?
kindergarten.
Come on, we've
though.
all been there.
I never did it in school.
I did it at a sleepover also. Another time.
I did it one time, like at a friend's house, or it was long story. Don't need to tell it. But yeah, who hasn't? Is the moral of the story.
That's true.
Come on, guys.
I love that you guys. So originally, when I asked that, I was expecting like when your performance, like embarrassing stories, and you guys gave me live stories. So that's awesome.
I tried to get
more
as
than
close to performing as possible.
Yeah,
I think I might have blocked some of them out, but
No,
All
those
my
are way better
performances were
stories.
perfect.
To like even.
a lot of the performance stories are not really like embarrassing, but more frustrating. Like whenever I've been put into a situation that I'm clearly not qualified for as a drummer or a percussionist, like I can think of some like musicals that I've played drum set for,
Yeah.
but because I'm not 100% on music theory, sometimes like the music director cannot tell me in like rock band terms what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So it'll just be, can you hit some term for dynamics or like embarrassing thing. I've never understood codas. I don't really know what how they work. And so I've fucked that up so many times whenever I'm in an orchestra. I don't know what a coda is.
But it just like you just repeat it. You go back to that moment later.
it's
It's
a
like a
portal.
bookmark.
It's a portal.
Portal.
It's weird.
Yes.
That's what they said.
It's a
but
portal. Yeah. So I'm not gonna try to explain it to you now, but also codas.
Thank you.
It's why codas. Why?
Do any of our songs have codas?
Well, so
I think they could.
Is that
I think
an
they
acronym
could.
for something? What is that?
No, all of every single piece of language for like sheet music is an Italian word because the Italian language is where it's like standardized. So I don't know what coda means in
Sforzando.
Italian,
Good
but
one.
like
The best one.
Sforzando sounds like a sports
like
car.
crescendo
Oh, you got me out and I got a
is to like gradually get louder, which is like crest, like to crest.
No, that is
you
a
know,
car.
like to get to the
There's a
crest
car
of the
called
hill. So
Allegro,
it's
right?
like cognates like that. You
Allegro
can,
is a musical
or like
term.
forte.
No, but I'm
means
pretty sure
loud.
there's a car
Okay.
called it.
That
So,
sounds
like,
right. I can't confirm or
like
deny
That's
it.
like
That
fuerte
sounds right.
I
is
heard
like
of
strong
that.
in Spanish.
Who
It's that
knows?
whole root of like like play strongly. It's
I heard
it's
of
forte. So
Cadillac.
they all have meanings, but it's just all Italian. I have no idea.
Let's
what
say
coda
forte
means.
again.
Forte.
Oh, so good. I
Fortissimo.
love it. Oh, get out of
Is
here.
Italian one of your languages?
Sforzando.
Apparently,
You
Danny
used
speaks
to.
She
Italian.
does actually.
Yeah, maybe 10% of my Spanish.
Oh.
I have
Well,
more
it's similar.
accents than languages, but Catherine is
He is
also.
amazing at accents.
Catherine, okay, so what languages do you speak? You used to do a little Japanese, a little Italian,
Oh no, I can
Indonesian.
never like.
but right now you
in
have
good conscience say that I speak Japanese.
you're at conversational to fluent in 4 languages right now: English, Spanish, Polish, and Indonesian. Right?
That's
Is that-
insane.
Yeah, right, bro. And I got accents.
I got accents.
That's incredible, though.
And
I
what do
can't
we
do
have?
that.
Nothing.
You know,
do that. I
you
can't
each
do
have your
that.
strengths. Like Catherine's good for traveling, and you're good for like improv.
yeah, yeah, right. You know, equally important things.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
Like, can you do this accent? A lost Japanese guy in New York City
Oh my God.
asking for directions.
I think that
Pass,
could.
pass, pass.
That's probably gonna be racist.
It is
think-
fun. It is funny that
keep
you
me-
cannot do
Well,
certain
you
accents
can't
right
do
now.
that.
Oh,
Keep me European, and I'm good.
that's true.
Keep me.
Somebody could pass us.
Keep me
Can
in a
you do
white
a Nordic
in a
accent?
white country.
Yeah.
A Nordic accent. There are a few kinds of Nordic accent. I haven't really differentiated between them, but it's a lot of like the vowels of what's different about them, and then I don't know. Maybe this is like so like Icelandic.
Okay, switch it up.
So like Swedish, you have like the vowels are a lot like sort of they sound like almost silly to like American English.
Or German.
here.
I was gonna say German. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually speak German, and there's a lot of different kinds of German accent. My grandmother came from Germany, and so this is more like Austrian, when you have like the ow, you know, like. But if
Russian.
so,
Irish. Oh.
Russian is not so very difficult. It's much more difficult for the Polish accent because Polish language is more nuanced in sound. I think just also American culture has a lot of very stereotypical like Russian villains, and so we know, you know, like you know how Putin
I
sounds.
do Irish.
Well, and that's another one there. It's like so there's actually there are islands, two different countries. It's Northern Ireland and then the Republic of. And there's a lot of different accents throughout Ireland, and so we've got like sort of this one where you might expect like, oh, yo, the wee leprechauns and whatnot and all that, but then you've got like a little there's more like a tonality, like a little bit of a lilt in Irish, and you know what I'm saying about.
Scottish.
Now that's another one there. So that like a subtle like nuance, you know. Oh, that was bad. Hold on, I'm very sorry, you know, because like.
I'm sorry.
I don't really know the difference between sort of like Glaswegian and like Edinburgh, but as a sort of general concept, it's I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Why are you so good at this?
Why are you?
I don't know.
Very good at imitating
When
things.
you did this Scottish, I was like, okay, because they're very.
Alright, that's hard. That's a hard one.
That is
I
awesome.
cannot keep up with you.
Do you
So-
want me to judge, or should they judge each other?
Oh yeah, are we all done? Are we
I'm
we all
done.
I
finished?
can't remember
Yeah,
anything
I'm
else
done.
that was
Painting.
happening.
You know what we should
Around
do?
the world.
You know what we should do?
I feel like there was.
You guys should. Okay, so you guys, I think they should judge each other's, but not know which one they're judging.
Oh, do blind?
Blind judges.
Ooh.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
these two know.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen Lucy's.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely seen Joey's.
I don't think that. I think maybe we just need to make our case to all of you as to why ours is the most like authentic representation.
Snake
of
oil
that.
salesman. I like
Could
it.
one of you guys
I
pull up the
forgot
picture
ours.
again?
Yeah, here I got.
Yeah, let's pull up the picture. And
I
then
got
just
one
set
with no background.
side by side.
Dude, I'm gonna remember that accent.
We won.
for a long time.
You guys lost. We won.
That
No,
was probably
yeah.
the best I've ever heard.
Thank you very
Honestly.
much.
Caleb, why don't we the
Appreciate it.
judge? Why don't just...
Yeah, here, you wanna?
You want me to be the judge?
Well, just just for reference. we
Wait,
can-
so
we can
so
just, like, hold it.
you could blind judge.
You could blind judge. That's
Looks
that's
like a
true.
very large
I'll be
man
honest,
underneath that.
But-
sheet.
No, I think we should defend our creation.
Yeah, okay,
Because we
cool.
all made choices.
I
Wait,
think
you
we
guys
all
explain
made.
that.
We all made choices.
So I
Can
will
you guys
say.
explain the album first?
So what?
Like, what the album title?
Oh yeah.
The album it's Stranger in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers.
My criteria for judging isn't just going to be on artistry. I'm also going to go off how accurate you were. to the thing.
Okay. So I think if I'm going first, I don't know. Should I like hold it up or what? What are we doing first? So what do we think?
Big Phoebe.
So
That's what I
listen.
call my cat. My
Big
cat's
Phoebe,
name
listen.
is Phoebe
Oh, Big
Bridgers.
Phoebe.
Big Phoebe.
I really like the impressionism in the trees.
Oh, yeah,
I
dude.
saw that when you were doing it.
Wow.
Do you want to tell me
I
what else
liked
is
it.
good about this?
You
I really like the way you
more?
put it.
I
That was
can
really
tell
nice.
you, bro.
I mean, I like your color variation here going in there.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was some yellowish
There's some yellow,
fields
and
in
I
the
tried to
field.
grab
Yeah.
it. The funny thing
I
about
got
mixing
that.
colors is they always turn brown. That's
Yeah.
true.
But
But
how
it-
do you do?
But I think I like, I love just the. I wish the sky was the one thing that I didn't figure out, and I think a lot of us would have struggled with the sky in that album. Because can I see the picture again? Somebody have that? It's pretty good. You know what? The angle on the rainbow is pretty fucked up. I did not realize that it's just more of a straight beam.
That being said, man, you got texture to your ghost. The dog,
I did get some texture. You know what was fun was that the paint started dripping at some point, and I thought, oh man, this is
How do I
ruined.
turn
I'm over.
this
How do I
into-
turn this around? Turns out
Lemon
paint
into
dries, and
lemonade.
you can just paint right over it again.
Turns out.
What?
And I didn't even know that.
If
I,
only I had known.
I really don't paint too often, so I think this is a victory in that I didn't break the canvas.
Oh,
I
yeah,
only
dude.
got a little bit of paint on my hands. It's not
Only
too
a
bad.
little
You got
bit.
less than me.
It's
though.
okay
Yeah.
if you get
No, I
painted.
feel like I got
I like
it.
your arms too because I forgot arms.
I think I made.
arms.
So have we confirmed that it is Phoebe Bridgers? Like Phoebe is the ghost? Because if so, I made Phoebe like a little bit jacked. I don't
That's
think her
fine,
arms are
dude.
that big.
Big feet. I mean,
It's a
big
strong,
feet.
a strong personality.
You were just painting the interview, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
The dog is more very impressionist, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
it has two
Almost cubist.
tails. Yeah.
It doesn't have two tails. It just has one. It's got one leg, and then the tail, and the back, and then the.
I was thinking like they're both backs, actually.
Whoa.
The beast with two backs.
The beast with two
All
backs.
right. Let's move on.
Alright, let's look at your work.
Yeah.
Mine? Okay.
Let's see
All
it.
right, everybody. Here's what I managed.
Oh, Phoebe.
Managed quite
Yeah.
well.
Phoebe, yeah. So yeah, I just
That looks
sort
like a Sufjan Stevens cover with
Does
all
it
the
really?
exclamation points.
Oh,
of, yeah. So
Tone,
Illinois.
It feels like the scream. Like it feels like darker.
it feels darker, like the scream.
Like the scream.
The
Yeah.
angle of the face is like the scream, right?
Is
You gotta
it
really-
because the arms look like they're melting?
Ooh,
Um,
like a candle.
Yeah, so I tried to make sure I got the dog in there and the truck, which is I have a terrible visual memory until we
Attention
looked
to
at this.
detail.
I
Was there
didn't
a
notice
truck?
there's a
There's a
truck.
truck in
There's
there?
a truck in
There
there,
was
guys.
a little,
Oh
you
my
know.
Oh, get
Yeah.
out of here.
Damn.
Dead straight. There's a
Fuck.
truck.
I think he
there's
wins
most
just
of a
for
truck.
that.
So I tried to get it in there, but also really what it is a lot of brown paint. So
It's the fact that it's
yeah.
there, though.
I tried to get I don't know, just tried to make sure that there was a dog and a truck and that the ghost had eyes. And
I really like how your rainbow looks like a lightning bolt of rainbow.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
not
it was
how I
fine.
intended that for it to be like striking the ghost in the head.
I would say so far
Relax.
you nailed the fence concept and you got
Yeah.
the rainbow down the arch, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's the two distinctions from your guys' painting so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good arch.
You also, I like
I'll
your
take it.
trees. I like your trees.
Thank you. I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun with the trees. That was actually my favorite
I
part.
forgot
I
about
forgot
the
there
trees.
were trees, but I
That's
love
some-
trees. I love
We
your
will be
trees.
trash talking each other so bad.
I know, we're bad.
We should do a
Oh, you did such a good job, Danny.
We'll get
Did
to
you hear
that.
our music?
We'll
We're
get to
very
that.
positive.
Yeah.
We're very family friendly.
we have to stay positive.
A lot of
It's the
love.
only
Yeah.
thing. Everything else is so dark and negative. Like, what if we were just nice to each other?
Right.
Okay.
Everyone
Here's
cares.
mine.
Showing some
Oh,
legs.
you got the whole title in there. That's pretty good. I love
Yeah,
that.
you know-
Ow.
Oh my god, the dog and the tongue.
I love that it's a ghost dog
So
too.
cute.
Oh yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
does work. Yeah, I drew it to the best of my memory, and then I forgot what was after that, and then I got bored, so I started adding some stuff, and this is where I ended up.
Yeah, I really like the dancing.
Well, at
Yeah.
least you got the whole title in there.
It looks like
That's a first.
She's like doing the can.
That's true.
About to life.
Yeah.
And I like the field too.
The
That's
field
good.
looks great. That is
Yeah.
excellent.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Thank you,
there's
guys.
real depth to that.
Yeah.
And you got all the colors in the rainbow. I appreciate that.
Did you not?
No, I did blue,
I'm
green,
at a solid.
yellow, and red, and then I
I'm-
went. bleh.
I'm at five.
I'm really
colors
more
in the
at
rainbow.
Royjbov because I didn't add any
Royjbov?
indigo.
Roigebov.
Royjbov.
Commissioner Roigebov.
Okay, here's mine. Which is actually stuck to the easel.
Oops.
There we go.
Oh, you
So I
added a lot.
pinned it to the
Oh,
Oh.
neato.
I love the first thing I love about it is that the dog is so much closer, so that they can be friends.
The dog is pretty close, and I'm so bad at animals though, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be an impressionistic dog. But yeah, I thought he was pretty close to her in the picture. I only did feet here. I didn't do any arms, but I was proud of the title, and I had a very precise rainbow, which I feel like in the
Sure.
picture
Yeah.
it was not as precise. It was kind of like.
So
Yo,
yeah, so Lucy's the
that's
one.
sky.
Lucy's the one who can paint.
I also,
Say it
I
again.
also inverted the trees though. The trees are on this side. I realized in
Ah.
the picture, and I put them.
But
on.
I like it's a compelling
Ooh.
image. I like it.
It
It's weirdly it's like right aligned now. It's fascinating.
Yeah, Phoebe should have done it this way.
And I think the fence is either straight or trending upwards towards the right in the original, and yours is kind of coming down towards the right. It's fast. It's wild.
Centering
Okay.
it. I had a hard time with the paint not drying on mine actually because I wanted to make this more white and it kept bleeding through to the trees underneath. Just frustrating me. And yours is totally white.
Well, I straight up did not like paint this
¿Qué pasa?
section. I intentionally like left that blank.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
So you guys, all of yours were awesome. Honest to God, like yours looks totally different than yours, and yours is totally different. But yours is probably the most accurate, hands down.
Mine is still the most accurate.
Yours
I
is
think
the most
yours is
accurate.
so.
But I didn't
winner-
have the truck.
Yours
Everything-
shows the most technical prowess.
The
for
winner.
sure.
It's the most technical.
Yeah.
But they were
I will
all,
give that to you.
all
We all had fun, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Can we get a cheers real quick?
Huzzah!
Big feed.
Cheers. Peace.